Hello, my name is Kira Hochtel, and I am one of the first-year advisors here in the College of Media Communication Information. Today, I'll be sharing with you some of the information from our group advising workshops that took place at the beginning of June. If you weren't able to attend one of those workshops, not to worry, all of that content will be shared with you today, so you can watch this recording on your own time and be ready to attend the second part of the workshop at the beginning of July. Today, we're going to be discussing a timeline for summer so that you'll know what's happening and when and what you need to be doing in June and July. We'll review a first-year toolkit, so we'll present some of the websites, tools, and resources that you'll need to get started here at CU Boulder. And we'll also look at the 4 key steps of registration. So we'll look at understanding degree requirements and selecting your enrollment window. The second 2 steps we'll focus on in the workshop for July. Over this summer, there's some key dates and timelines to be aware of. Online experience modules have been available to you since June 1st. Please keep in mind that you need to complete all of your available online experience modules before you will be able to select an enrollment window. There will be more content that is shared with you through your online experience starting in July. So make sure to keep an eye on your CU Boulder email and also to check back into your Canvas to access your July content. At the beginning of July, there will also be 2 sessions of part 2 of this group advising workshop. So that'll be a time when you can join me and other CMCI incoming first years to look at how to check your schedule of pre-enrolled classes, how to use your degree audit to identify what classes you might want to take, and then how to use the class search to find and register for those classes. Students will all register for an enrollment window. Those enrollment windows take place between the 17th of July and August 9th. You must select the enrollment window in which you want to register for classes. That's something that you can do through your Buff portal, but before you're able to select a window, you must complete your June content in the online experience. If you need help with your online experience, please contact New Student Family Programs at welcome@colorado.edu. and they can help you resolve any issues you might be having with the online experience. Please note that each of the enrollment windows is 2 days long and that it is very important for you to select an enrollment window where you're going to be able to attend that window bright and early so that you can get first pick of the classes that will be released during that window. On August 19th, we will have the CMCI Fall Welcome. That will be in person on CU Boulder campus after move-in has taken place, and then classes will begin on August 22nd. I've also added the add and swap deadline for courses and the drop deadline to show you that these happen after courses have begun. So if anything happens and you need to make a change to your schedule, you can work with your advisor even through the first week of classes to make any necessary adjustments. At the bottom of this timeline, I'm also providing links to the full academic calendar so that you can see all of the important dates and deadlines for fall, the New Student and Family Programs First Year Welcome page so that you can review all of your to-do items for the summer, and also a link to the CMCI Information for First Years page. This will come back later when we get into your first year toolkit. Please note that I have also shared a copy of this slide deck on the Information for First Years website where you're seeing this recording. You can access that slide deck in order to gain all of these links. Part of the timeline is understanding what you can be doing in June and what needs to wait until July. So in June, you can be completing your online experience modules and challenges. Once you've completed your online experience modules and challenges, you can select your enrollment window. Please note that selecting an enrollment window is determining when you will register, but that you will then have to wait until the enrollment window you have chosen to actually enroll in classes. And that will happen in July or August, depending on the window you choose. You can also register for your July group advising workshop. These workshops have already been posted in Buff Portal Advising, and you can sign up for one now. Students can also be submitting official transcripts. If during high school you did any AP exams or had any IB credit, or if you took any courses for dual credit or through concurrent enrollment, you may have college credit already. And it's important for you to submit official transcripts for any of those college credit granting institutions directly to CU Boulder so that it can become part of your academic record here, and you can have that information ready when it comes time for you to select classes later in July. It's also really important in June and also in July and also in August for you to continue to check your CU Boulder email regularly. Advising offices and new student family programs and other offices on campus will send you important emails to let you know what you need to be doing and if there are any additional steps you need to take. Make sure to check your email regularly, at least once a week, and also to read those emails carefully. They usually contain really great information on what you need to do next and who you can contact if you have questions. Please note that there are no placement exams required for CMCI students, though you can choose to take a placement test if you would like to enroll in an advanced course in math, foreign language, or chemistry in the fall semester. Please also be aware that if you already plan to change your major, either from one program to another within CMCI or from CMCI to a program in a different college, that you should submit this major change request now through your application status page through admissions. This will help ensure that you are starting in the right program and that if your new program involves pre-enrollment, that we're getting you into the right classes. Here are some things that will need to wait until July. Mainly, planning classes and preparing for registration. Because at this point in the summer, student records are still being processed, and also because pre-enrollment for CMCI classes will not take place until the end of June, it is too early right now to start planning specific classes for your fall registration. You will be pre-enrolled in one or more classes that are required for your major at the end of the month of June, and that information will shape which classes you want to plan to register for during your enrollment window in July. July group advising workshops are designed to teach you how to check that schedule and then how to use your degree audit to identify requirements to look at for fall, and also how to use the class search to find and register for those classes. Please also be aware that seats in first year classes are released at the start of each enrollment window. So searching for classes now might give you a false impression of which courses will be available when you actually go to register for classes during your enrollment window. Also, please remember that students must select an enrollment window in order to register for fall classes. So if you haven't chosen your enrollment window yet, that's something you can be doing now in the month of June. In our workshop, we had lots of time to do activities. Because this is a recording, I'm going to recommend an activity for planning summer support. Please feel free to pause this recording and create a worksheet for yourself to make some notes about the kind of advising support that might be helpful to you over the summer. Look at the timeline and at your Buff portal advising. What events do you plan to attend? When will you register for classes? Make sure to add important events to your calendar and set reminders if you're using a calendar in your phone or on your computer. Also, make sure to make note of any summer plans or commitments that you need to consider when planning advising support or registration. Are you going to be going on vacation or out of town? Do you have a summer job that may impact when you're able to attend group advising workshops? Make a plan now for how to work through any schedule conflicts so that you can make sure you're ready to receive advising support and also to enroll in classes. In this next part of the workshop, we're going to look at your first year toolkit. There are lots of resources that we have made available to you here at CU to help you not only get started as a new first year student, but also to help you as you continue to move through your degree at CU Boulder. In the shared version of this slide deck, you'll be able to use each of these links to access the resources listed here. I'll just go over them quickly so that you know what you might be looking at. The first tool for you to be aware of is your Buff portal. Your Buff portal is your primary CU Boulder resource hub. This is a place where the university has collected a lot of the different tools and resources and information that you might need as a student. You can find class schedule information, GPA information, scholarships, financial aid, course materials, and books. Lots of things have been collected here. So when you're looking for information about something that you might need, start with your Buff portal. You can use the menu on the side or also the search bar to look for those resources. The next resource for us to discuss is Buff Portal Advising. This is a separate resource from your main Buff portal, and this is the platform that CU has provided to connect you with your CU success team. So if you need human support from advising, from career services, from advisors in other departments, all of those human resources for students are collected here in your Buff Portal Advising. And this is the tool that you can use to find available meetings and support, and also to schedule those meetings or register for things like group advising workshops. The next resource for us to look at is your Degree Audit. This is a tool that you can access through your Buff portal, and it is a smart checklist of all of the requirements that you need to complete your degree in your declared program here in CMCI. As you run your degree audit, once you've enrolled in classes or next semester, it will update with your academic record. So you can use this as a smart checklist to measure your progress towards completing your degree, and also for things like planning classes to register for in the fall semester. We'll look more closely at how to use this degree audit in our July workshop. The next resource that I've shared with you here is the CU Boulder catalog. All CU and CMCI policies are published in the catalog, and this is also where you can go to see a full menu of available programs, as well as a full list of all of the classes and course descriptions offered by each department. You may find this really useful if you're looking for an alternative major, or if you've already started thinking about what you might want to do for your required secondary area of study in CMCI. I've also shared a link to the registrar's website. We're going to teach you how to use important tools like the class search so that you will know how to add, drop, and swap courses. But all of the information on how to do those registration actions is also published on the registrar's website. So if you want to jump ahead and start learning how to use those tools, or if later on you find yourself needing a reminder, having access to the registrar's website is extremely useful. Finally, I am sharing again a link to the CU Boulder academic calendar. This is a comprehensive calendar of all of the key dates and deadlines for every semester. And this is really, really important for you to have, because even though the university does its best to send you reminders and keep you up to date about important deadlines, you are ultimately responsible for all of those deadlines. So if you miss the last day to drop a class or the last day to add a class, we may not be able to help you get around that. So make sure that you know what your dates and deadlines are, and you can do that by bookmarking the academic calendar and checking it carefully during each registration season. The final tool that is part of your CMCI First Year Toolkit is the Information for First Year's website, specifically for CMCI students. Our team has curated information on this webpage just for incoming first-year students. You can visit this page to get information about things like placement tests, timeline for summers, and advising options, and also to find resources like workshop recordings and slide decks. This is another website that I recommend bookmarking because we'll keep this website up to date with important information for each of your registration cycles while you are a first-year student in CMCI. Another recommended activity would be a resource scavenger hunt. It's one thing for me to say, hey, here are all of these tools, but it's another thing to start practicing using them. Open up this slide deck and practice using your toolkit. Access the links in the presentation slides and look for key information on each of these resource pages. Consider using the first year website to check and see if you need any placement tests. Or you could use the academic catalog to explore minors, majors, and certificates. You might even write down some things that you think might be interesting for a secondary area of study. You could also use the academic calendar to double check what the last day to add, drop, or swap a class might be. The next part of our presentation today covers registration. Registration 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll point out that the June workshop primarily focuses on the first two steps. Those are understanding your degree requirements and selecting an enrollment window. Things like confirming which transfer credits you may have, using your degree audit, and planning and registering for classes will be covered in our July workshop. There are 4 primary components to your degree at CU Boulder. The first part is your major. All CMCI students declare a major when they apply to our college. So that means you already have a major selected. It's always a really good idea to review the major that you have declared and read about some of the classes involved in that major to make sure that you feel like you're on the right track. It is very normal for students to make changes to their major after they've started classes, but if you already know that you want to make a change, doing that now can help us get you started with the best fit courses for you this fall. The majors that we offer in CMCI are APRD, also called Strategic Communications, which covers advertising, public relations, and media design. CMDP, which is our media production major. COMM, which is communications. Info, which is our info science major. Journalism, and whoops, I put StratCom on here twice, but not media studies, and media studies, MDST. Sometimes classes that are required for your major can also apply to your CMCI core requirements. Let's talk about what your CMCI core requirements are. The second part of your degree is CMCI core. This is our name for general education requirements that are part of your bachelor's degree. This includes subject areas like foreign language, your common experience course, composition and expression, so like writing classes, math, computing, natural science, arts and humanities, social science, history, and global diversity. You can see a list of what requirements you need to complete, as well as classes that you can take to complete those requirements in your degree audit. The next component of your degree in CMCI is your required secondary area of study. Students generally don't declare their secondary area of study until the end of their sophomore year. If you already know what you want to do, that's wonderful, but you cannot declare a secondary area of study until after classes have started in August. Secondary areas of study for most majors can be a minor, a certificate, or a second major. If you're not sure what you might want to do for a secondary area of study, this would be a great opportunity to explore the CU Boulder program catalog to see what programs are available, or would be a great conversation to have with an advisor so that they can help you connect your interests to a suitable secondary area. The last component of your degree are elective credits. Students must complete 120 credits to graduate, and sometimes all of your classes for your major, your CMCI core, and your secondary area of study don't add up to 120 credits. And so students often have to take extra classes in order to close the gap and get to 120 in order to be able to graduate. Because as an incoming first-year student, you still have so many requirements to meet. Most first-year students do not end up taking elective credits in their first semester. If you have questions about elective credits, this is something that we can discuss more in the July workshop or in an advising meeting if you choose to attend the drop-ins that we have available over the summer. I mentioned that you can check what degree requirements you have to meet in your degree audit. So here's some information on how you can run your degree audit and start looking at those requirements. You can access your degree audit through your Buff portal in your class and registration guide card by looking in the plan section. Clicking the View Degree Audit link is going to take you to an external website where you can run your declared program. On this screen, you'll see 2 screenshots. One showing you how you can see your declared program for the current major you have selected, and also further information on how you can run a degree audit for an alternative program if you are already looking at a minor or considering a major change. Once you've run your degree audit, you will have to open the degree audit in order to see the detailed information. You can do this by clicking on the View Audit link in the list of completed audit requests once your audit has stopped running. So when the wheel has stopped turning, that's when you should see a completed audit appear in this list, and you can click View Audit to run or to open that page and see your detailed information. Here's a sneak peek at what that audit might look like. Your audit is organized into your CMCI core requirements and then your major requirements. Here you can see listed CMCI core requirements like foreign language, common experience, composition and expression. Please note that each of these headings can be clicked on and opened to view more detailed information about which classes are required to fulfill that area. Another recommended activity might be to run and review your degree audit. Follow the instructions in your online experience or in this presentation to run your degree audit. Try using it to identify the first class or classes for your declared major. Read the course description for those classes. You can access course descriptions by clicking on the class numbers in your audit. When reading your description, consider, does this sound interesting to you? Why or why not? Based on the description of this class, do you think your major might be a good fit? Is this what you expected? And also consider, what other information would you need to feel confident about your selected major? Please also keep in mind that the first class for your major is one of the courses that you will be pre-enrolled in at the end of June. You will not have to self-register for the first class for your major. The second step in registration 1, 2, 3, 4 is selecting your enrollment window. Remember that you cannot register for classes until you have selected an enrollment window. All enrollment windows are 2 days long, and they take place between July 17th and the middle of August. Once you have completed your online experience modules for June, that includes the enrolling in classes and preparing for advising modules and the challenges associated with those modules, you will be able to select an enrollment window through your Buff portal. To do this, you can log into Buff portal, navigate to your new student welcome card, click on Register for Classes, and at that time, you will be prompted to select your enrollment window. Make sure when choosing an enrollment window that you pick a window that works best for you. It is more effective to choose a later window where you can attend early in the day when that window opens than to choose an early window where you have to register later in the day. Remember that students will be showing up first thing in the morning and registering for the open seats in classes that were released during that window. If you wait until the afternoon of that day or until the second day of the window, you may have fewer options for courses to register for to complete your schedule for fall. Please be aware that CU saves seats in a wide variety of classes for all enrollment windows, and that seats are released at the start of each window. So make sure, again, choose a window that works for your schedule so that you can be there bright and early to register on that first day.